right, well, welcome to the annual meeting of Liberty Seated Collectors Club. We're going to start out with our customary group photo. So why don't we all gather in this area? All right, we're going to do our group introductions, starting on this side. So I'm Len Augsburger. I'm president of Liberty Seated Collectors Club, and I am a quarter collector from Chicago. Right?
Craig Everhart. I'm working with these guys as vice president. I'm from New Mexico. I collect New Orleans coins primarily.
Okay, I'm Ken Otto. I'm from Houston and Colorado, and I'm dollars, quarters, halves.
Chris Hoffman, Plano, Texas, and we collect a little bit of everything. Starting to get into British coins, but still do the Liberty too.
Jim Carey, West Liberty, Iowa, and I do half dimes and cuts.
Daniel Williams from McKinney, Texas. A little bit of everything, but focusing on 20-cent pieces.
Alexander Ash, Ohio, and I collect seed quarters.
Dennis Fortier, Tennessee, half-dollar guy, and president of the Seated Half Society.
Rich Chillingworth, just up the highway from Tulsa, and working on half dollars.
John Lunston, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm treasurer of the club, and I'm the fool that's trying to collect all the date and mint marks and all the years from 1793 to date, and 3,000 coins I got. Thanks to my buddy Canado, who sold me a 71cc quarter yesterday. I only have 7 more coins to go.
Wow. Jeff Pritchard, Seattle, Washington, and secretary of the club, and State Liberty Quarter.
Jared Roberts, I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I collect a little bit of everything, focusing mostly on typesets right now for U.S. typeset.
I'm Ted Barrow from East Tennessee now, and I collect all U.S. coins, 92 through 64.
Ruth Osborne, Kemah, Texas, and I collect everything in Liberty Seated, including Dick Osborne.
Dick Osborne, Kemah, Texas. Houston is a suburb of Kemah. Liberty Seated halves is dollars.
David Reimer, Alexandria, Virginia, trade dollars and seeded dimes.
Jack Kramer, Battlefield, Missouri, $half.
Norman McCloskey, and I'm not a collector, but everybody knows that John was. I'm Susan Anderson from Dayton, Ohio, and I'm Norma's chauffeur to the shows.
Sean Sager, I collect Civil War era, Waco, Texas. John Caswell from Oklahoma City, U.S. type collector and variety.
Vern Pittman, Groton, Connecticut, and Bailey Island, Maine, $half, member number 2 of the Seated Half Society. The president was number 1.
John Sauerbeer, Seattle, Washington, seated coins.
I'm Chris Sutter from St. Louis, Missouri, half time.
Burton Strauss, DFW Metroplex, primary focus is sample slabs, and volume 1 of the 3rd edition was published last week. We're officially announcing it tonight at our Birdsville event.
Matthew Mayers from Armonk, New York. I collect all seed denominations.
Scott Anderson from Florida. What brought me here is I'm working on an 1850 typeset, 2 to go.
Richard Chunkus from the Chicago area. I collect Liberty Seated quarters by die variety. At least I try.
Darrell Lowe from New York, New York. I collect Liberty Seated quarters, dimes, half dimes, and a little bit of $half and dollars too.
George Gutierrez, Round Rock, Texas, Air Force Academy Spirit of '76. So I'm working on a centennial Liberty Seated set, and a few others like to get an approved dollar as well, and a few other things.
Dave Goya from the Bay Area, I'm primarily a type collector, but seated as part of that type, so that's what I'm going after.
Paul Stang, my main collecting focus is the early commandments, but I'm putting together a seed half collection.
Mark Hemming, I'm from the Denver, Colorado area. I collect all U.S. coins. I also work on seeded, and I completed my 20-cent pieces. So.
Dave Welch from Colorado, and I collect a little bit of everything.
I'm Tim Glau. I like the double dimes and the halves, but what I really like to do is help the Liberty Seated Club as well as help the booth as well, as much as I can.
Ron Merrick, Corvallis, Oregon, sometimes known as the Oregon Beaver. Never met any of you prior to today. But anyway, I collect seated half dollars. I'm in the process of getting rid of my last 20, which are all CAC, highly graded. I also collect high-level quarter eagles.
I'm Greg Bennick. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I collect major mint errors and U.S. counterstamps. I guess that makes me last. Will I have an opportunity to make an announcement later, or should I just make it now?
Yeah.
All righty. Yeah, I'm Steve DiPolito from Colorado Springs area, and I've been putting together a typeset for a lot of years. And typeset, of course, is going to be about a third seated Liberty because of all the different arrows and rays and go drapery and stars varieties. That portion of my typeset is in the collector's exhibit area as an overview of Liberty seated coinage. So I would like to encourage all of you to go see that. I just got my score sheets back for class, and these are the best score sheets I ever got, and I've won 3 best of shows in the distant past. So this is looking promising.
And you do get to vote.
All right.
You got my vote already.
Question?
What section is it in your display? Is it in
You
US
basically
one?
walk into the collector exhibit area, and it's the first one on your left. It's right there.
Yeah.
Can't miss it.
A lot of exhibits to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. You can't miss it.
And I'm John Frost. I'm Education Director. I'm from Massachusetts. I collect half dimes, trade dollars, seated dollars, but I'm known for double dimes, otherwise known as the 20-cent piece.
All right.
And we missed one back there.
We missed
Oh.
one here, and this gentleman here.
My name is Steve Feller, and I've been a member for a long time, but I do collect, I collect anything with a good story. Nice to see you. Oh, I'm from near Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
I'm Joe Casazza. I'm the Northeast Regional Director for the club. I come from New Hampshire, Hollis, New Hampshire, and my main focus on Liberty seated these days is the early tenor on the quarters and the halves. That is from introduction to the rays and arrows of 53. And then after that, of course, they drop some silver, and that's where I stop. They're very hard to find, especially in good conditions. Thank you.
And we have one more. Brad, your quick introduction. Name, where you're from.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
All right, let's move on. All right, well, we got a busy agenda today, so we're gonna go through these, and we got a lot of different updates from different people in the club, so let's jump into it. And at the end, we'll have a raffle. All right, another great year. We got onto the new website with the help of John Lunston and the more creative guys. So we've now got our membership list is finally completely online, and we can take renewals online, which is great. In November, we had a really nice ceremony at the Kristen Gobrecht grave. The club sponsored a new headstone for Gobrecht and his family. The Mint director was there, the ANA president. It was a great event, and we'll have more information on this as we go. The summer seminar class on New Orleans was, by all accounts, a home run. We've gotten great reviews. We'll probably do it again next year. We continue to have very strong presence at regional shows around the country. Did about 20 events this year. So just having exposure to all parts of the country. And then finally, Jeff Pritchard is working on our 501c3 status so that we can get to the place where we can take tax-deductible donations, which would be a good place to be. All right.
All right, Dennis, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, this afternoon, I have the honor of receiving for Bill Bugert the Admiralty Wild Award. I put Bill in for it the last 2 years. It only took 2 years for him to receive it. When I talked to the ANA, I directed the young lady that I was talking to our website and then to Bill's book page, and her comment was, "Oh, he's way overdue." So Bill obviously doesn't travel anymore, so I will be accepting the award for him this afternoon. Very honored to do that. So congratulations, Bill.
Craig.
All right. Well, several years ago, I was thinking about doing a New Orleans Mint class for the summer seminar, and last year I talked John and Len into doing it.
He had to twist our arm really hard.
They said, "Sure, that sounds good." So we went ahead and developed. We had 15 students, and we covered the coins and the history of the mint from the beginning to the end. And for me, it was one of the most enjoyable presentations I've given in many years. I was just thrilled with doing it. I felt, and apparently the people in the class did too. So here's a few comments we got from the students. I really enjoyed the hands-on examinations. The course was a great introduction to the coinage of the New Orleans Mint. Now, it was more than an introduction. There was a lot of stuff in there. History of the mint itself, the people and its coins. And I threw in one of the compliments we received. They thought we did a good job and had a good presentation. And again, as I said, I thought it was a wonderful course, and we plan to offer the class again in 2026, presuming they're going to accept it as one of our courses. I think they will, from everything I've heard. So,
okay.
We had a great time.
Len, if I could comment, I was there, and you did a great job. John, three of you was a great class. As being there, I confirm what you just said. Encourage all of you to attend this class. John also did a patterns and an air mini seminar, so wonderful time.
Thank you.
And then the second week, I volunteered, driving people around. And last year, I drove the ANA Deluxe Shuttle. This year, it was the Premier Limousine Service. And I drove very fast. I got people where they needed to go, and I didn't roll it over, and I didn't lose anybody. So, kudos. All right. And as Len stated, one of our big projects this year was the new Christian Gobrecht grade marker. For those of you who weren't there, just a recap. When Gobrecht died in 1844, he was originally interred in Philadelphia's old Monument Cemetery. And there's a photo from 1868. Unfortunately, they eventually ran out of plots to sell, and thus the money stopped coming in, and the upkeep becomes minimal and then almost non-existent. And during this time, Temple University across the street is growing, and this makes the land the cemetery is on more valuable. Gobrecht's original grave marker, was pictured there. By the mid-50s, the cemetery is pretty dilapidated, and Temple wants the land, and they convinced the city and the courts to allow them to buy the property. But they had to move 28,000 people who were buried there. And so Temple bought it, and now there's a field hockey and lacrosse field there, and a parking lot and a couple student buildings where the cemetery used to be. And what did they do with the gravestones? They sold them to developers. They used them as ballast and stuff to help protect the banks of the Delaware River. And since it's a tidal river at low tide, some of the broken pieces of tombstones. So this was just a horrible thing that happened to the people in the cemetery. So they got moved to Longview Cemetery, and a couple of years ago, this is where Gobrecht now was buried, and that was his marker, just a plate in the ground that would get grassed over. When I visited there, the cemetery worker had to cut the grass off the marker. And so, you know, Gobrecht obviously deserved better. Bill Boogert, who originally did all the research for where Gobrecht was born and where he was buried, found the marker. And he said, you know, we ought to do something about that. So it was his idea that the club ought to try to correct this wrong. I met with the cemetery, initial discussions, found out what did we need to do, you know, what were the limits or whatever. Then Dennis took over the project, and really the idea got traction within the club. Dennis worked with the cemetery for the specifications, the approved vendor for the stones, and we had to get permission from the family, and so Dennis sought them out and wanted to get some of them there. So this all led to November. And Dennis, you want to take over this?
Yeah. Not only did we want to get family members there, but we wanted the U.S. Mint to be a participant in this as well as the A&A. And everything came together beautifully, even the weather cooperated. It was a beautiful day. We probably had, I don't know, about 30, 40 people there, something like that. What really, for me, was the most special part was that the Mint director was there, the superintendent. Oh, go ahead. Okay. The superintendent of the Philadelphia Mint was there, among other dignitaries, as well as the 14th chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. They were all there. There was about a party of 10 of them. And the thing of it was, they got it. They understood that we were honoring their heritage, and that was really special.
May want to mention the cards. We'll hand those out to people who didn't get them.
Yeah, so if you never got one of these cards, we have them here available. Also, for those that are late coming, we have 5 medals left over from the graveside ceremony that are part of the raffle we're doing today. Those were made by Tom Urim, the A&A president. He made 50 medals. We have 5 left over. So those are really special. Okay, so there's some pictures from the ceremony. There's Bill Boogert.
He was really moved by this. Because
Yeah.
of course, he started this whole thing.
Yeah. Right. And he actually got up and spoke, which was great.
Yeah.
That's
Joe Minna.
Joe Minna, he's the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, and he was really touched by the whole thing. He understood that this was his direct professional lineage, number 3 to number 14.
Why isn't this advancing? Okay, why isn't this advancing? It's like it stopped working. Let me try to
And we did get video of this event. It's on the website, so we got all the speeches from everybody.
There you go. That's the Mint director. Oh, who's that guy? Burton Atkinson.
Yeah, then the unveiling.
And then the unveiling of the grave marker. And some of the Gobrecht family there.
Yeah, Glenn Gobrecht said a few words on behalf of the family.
Yeah, and they were really touched by it.
We would have gotten a marker that was much larger, but the cemetery limited us to, it had to be ground level, so.
Yeah, we got the biggest one they allowed.
Yep.
And we had a sign-in book, just like you do at a funeral, that kind of thing. The A&A got that, right? I think?
I think so.
Yeah, pretty sure. Ben Franklin was there. And that's what the grave marker looks like. So not only is Christian there, but his wife, his daughter, and his son are there as well.
And at the bottom, of course, it says, in grateful recognition, Liberty City Collectors Club. So it was a great event. I think it really highlighted the club and how special we consider Christian. I think it gave us, in addition to doing the right thing, I think it gave us special notice from not only the Mint, but the ANA as well. So it was a great day, great project. I was proud to be a small part of it.
My name is Jeff Pritchard. I'm your club secretary. And a couple things, a membership report and then an update on this 501c3 nonprofit initiative. So our current members as of August 1st were 492. That's a slight 6% decline from where it was a year ago. One of the nice things is we have a higher level of people who've signed up for a multiple year, 2 or 3 years. 46% of our current members have signed up for more than 1 year. And we think that's probably because we initiated the online payment system, which makes it a lot easier for somebody to sign up for multiple years. We are looking at how we can increase membership. Obviously, we're looking for, no offense, a lot of younger, newer numismatists. But also we're doing things, because a lot of folks, they just simply forget to renew from time to time. And so we're going to be doing some things just to reach out to some of the members who have lapsed, and a lot of times just because they forgot. You can go to the. So in looking at this public charity initiative, and you probably got something in the email from Len about this, we're looking to change from what's considered called a membership organization or fraternal organization to a public charity. So membership organizations, think of Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions, the Shriners. Their whole purpose is to create fellowship. I mean, they do a lot of charitable things, but it's a fellowship based. Whereas really, if you look at our organization, it's really an educational organization. And so we're looking to change, and the tax advantages to that is if you are a public charity, people can donate and they potentially can qualify for a tax deduction on their income taxes. Additionally, it potentially provides us more long-term support. So for example, years ago, the ANA changed from a membership organization to a public charity, as did the ANS, the American Numismatic Association. So it's something that a lot of organizations do, again, for the benefit of the members, benefit of the organization. Quick footnote here, your membership dues are not tax deductible, even if we become a 501c3. The reason for that is you're getting something of value. And I think most in this room would say the Goldberg Journal you get is worth a heck of a lot more than the $30 membership fee. So that's why the membership dues aren't tax deductible. Go ahead. So the steps that we're in the process of doing is we have to change what we had as a constitution to an Articles of Incorporation. I know this is terribly exciting stuff. And we're in the process of doing that. We've initiated a vote. Most of you have voted. The next thing we do is register with a state Department of Corporations. We'll probably use Illinois, just because that's centrally located. And then after that, we file a Form 1023 with the IRS, basically saying we want to convert from this membership organization to a public charity. And usually that takes a month or two for them to get back to you on it. We don't foresee any difficulty, but obviously you'll be in the loop on all of that information. Go ahead. So the process to changing that constitution to an articles, we need a quorum of members to vote, and with 500, that's our bylaws say a quorum is 20%, that's 100 members. 2/3 of those have to approve it, so it's like a school bond issue, a certain number of people have to vote. And currently, as of 8/6, the voting was 167 to 3. And a number of us are going to meet with those 3 outside. So obviously, by requirement, we have to leave that voting window open until August 30th. We're going to do that, but obviously a high confidence level that the Articles of Incorporation will pass, and then we'll move on to the next steps. Go ahead. So while I've got you, this isn't going to turn into a tax advice lecture, but since we are moving to a nonprofit, there's a couple interesting things in this big piece of legislation that just passed that actually impacts the club. This is the one that's referred to as the big beautiful bill, or so two issues. One is the allowance for state and local taxes is being increased from the old 10,000 to 40,000, which means a lot of higher income people are going to want to or be able to contribute and deduct that off their taxes. Okay, I won't go into the details there because your tax advisors can do that. But the other element is brand new, never had it in this country's tax guidelines before, and that is even if you use the standard deduction, which is pretty high for some of us older folks. You've got the standard deduction, you've got a 2,000 rider, and this new legislation, you can add even another 6,000 to it. So a couple, I think, spouses above the age of 65 can deduct up to like 43 grand on your standard deduction. No matter even if you use that standard deduction, you can now deduct up to between 1,000 and 2,000 on your income taxes if you make a charitable contribution. A lot of you are looking puzzled, that's okay. The point is this enables kind of your average Joe and Josephine to contribute, and even if they're using the standard deduction, to take a deduction off their income taxes. So it's a real unusual benefit. You'll hear about it more. It's kind of an unknown part of the legislation. But it will impact us because that's probably going to be our sweet spot for contributions to this organization. And again, the big thing there is that helps us fund future programs to continue the work and the mission of this organization, to educate the numismatic community on the Christian Grove coinage, and to cultivate new numismatists in the organization to support the overriding, the underlying hobby. And so with that, I think that's my last slide. So, okay, thanks.
Jeff.
Yeah, so as far as that treasurer's report, we're in good shape. We had projected about $15,000 worth of membership dues. We got in a little bit less than that, $14,118. Jeff's doing a good job managing the advertising. Got about $7,000 from there. And then we didn't have any donations this year, but we've already got donations for the upcoming year. So that looks good. And then we have very few shirt sales because, quite frankly, our shirts haven't been updated since our anniversary, so we probably need to update some of our shirts. But that's not a big deal anyways. Most of it's membership and advertising. And then our biggest cost is in our expenses is our advertising. So we had projected a cost of $22,000 for advertising. We cost us roughly $5,000 to $6,000 every time we do a Goldberg journal. It's 50 pages, full color. And so, just between the printing and the mailing, it costs us $5,000 to $6,000. So depending upon how many actual journals we get printed in the year, last year, the last issue wasn't printed until January. So it affects this year. We'll have 4 journals in this year, and only 3 or 2 last year. So that's why the printing cost was less last year, but it'll be more this year. And then we also spent, about $4,000 on the website. Again, the website is our ability to attract young numinists, like some of the people in this room, and we just want to talk on their terms, automate the electronic payment, make it real easy for people to pay multiple years, and record the history of this great club that has 50 years of sharing and articles, and we have over 1,000 articles on the website right now, categorized by series, and so you just click on a coin and you get the quarters or the dollars or trade dollars, whatever you want. You click on whether you want year and mint mark like I want, or if you want something else like if you want to buy varieties or things like that. So it's very easy to use, and it's our future. We're going to have a whole training series by John Frost, hopefully. So go educate. We want to educate people on the Liberty Seated series, and we want to attract YNs, and their attention span is a lot less than ours. They don't have time to read a 500-page book. They have about 15 minutes or less. So we're going to continue to work on our website. We're going to continue to fund YNs and increase the membership of the club. And so this year, we may end up losing about $6,500. We may end up making a couple $1,000s. It just depends on when that last Boberg Journal is printed. Is it printed in December or is it printed in January of 2027? We don't really know until we get there. But all in all, the club is very solid. We've got plenty of money, and we have $47,000, $819 when you include the future printing and multi-year dues, which are considered a liability. So we've got plenty of cash, but again, we've got aggressive ideas on how to give free memberships to anybody under 25, give them free journals, and so that costs money to us. So you're funding the future members of the club. So any questions? Well, thank you.
All right, thanks, John.
Well, good morning. Our booth, for those of you that maybe haven't been there, we're at the 1600, 1626. We have exhibits of the Carson City and San Francisco coinage, Liberty City coinage. Then Joe, and I can't pronounce his last name, his new trade dollar book is there for everybody to see. It's just issued this year. So there you can join the club. If you're not a current member, you can renew or extend your membership. And we have a few club shirts. It's a picture of us, or some of us, at the club table there. So please come by.
It is, by the way, 42 of these feet away from my exhibit.
That's right.
There you go.
So we can take kill two birds with one stone.
And then also the Barber Coin Collector Society, we partner with. There's in their exhibit coins from Barber's coins of Hawaii, Panama, Cuba, and then a number of the barbers that have been collected out of bulk silver purchased as bullion. So, a couple comments on the highlights of our last year, from last year's A&A to present. Photos of some regional exhibits and some more stuff. Anyhow, we're about 20 to 25 shows a year is what we set up. So we're very active. We want to maintain that activity and possibly expand it. And as the comment says there, many of our regional events also include educational events to the public. Pictures from last year's A&A at Rosemont outside of Chicago. At Denver, where we set up for the first time last October. The Pan Show outside of Pittsburgh. Baltimore, which we do twice a year. Winter Fun in January.
That was new this year. Winter Fun, that was new.
No, this
No.
one.
Yeah, I'm thinking the A&A.
Yeah, Winter A&A.
Yeah.
But that's a good comment, Dennis, because, so I said, we've done 20 or 25 shows in the last few years, and so last year we were just a little over 20. The new events included the Winter A&A, as Dennis just said. We set up in Atlanta. It was a very good show. We'll be at Savannah this coming February. And then Denver, we'll be back in Denver this October, this fall. And so we have a lot of people involved in the program, representing the club at the tables. If other people want to get involved, we certainly welcome you. And it's a lot of fun. So as I mentioned, we have a pretty good presence. The Denver Expo that we started doing last year really kind of gets us a little bit further in the western region of the country, so we appreciate that. And the last comment is trying to draw more people into this activity.
I'm not gonna go through the whole list of shows here, but we got a lot of shows yet at the end of this year. So they're all listed on the slide, and they're listed on the website. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt.
Okay, my turn. The summer issue of the Go Brook Journal mailed on or about July 11th. This one here, if you don't have it by now, please get in touch with us. You should be, hopefully enjoyed it. So, okay, so according to the new Articles of Incorporation, I have to read every word of this aloud.
Can you do it as fast as that old FedEx guy?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
They don't take effect yet.
Yeah. So hopefully you've all seen this. It was a very densely packed issue, a lot of information in it. Do encourage you to thank our authors. Did a tremendous job in all this material. And, you know, that's all I'm going to say about that. So, little teaser for the fall issue. We already have full-length articles by Jeff Pritchard and Dick Osborne. For those of you who like Go Brook Dollars, what's his name again? Bob Julian has a response to what John Penrother and the guys had to say about him in the summer issue.
Okay.
So we're well on the way, and just to follow up on what John Lunsman said, that will be printed in November. It's not going to be December or January. But again, please, like I said, acknowledge our authors. Please write things. We're doing great work. I really enjoyed this year. Keep sending things in. And the other note I wanted to make is do thank our advertisers. As you saw on our budget numbers in particular, and just in general, supporting the club, our advertisers are a big piece of that. And specifically wanted to mention Paradigm Coins, a new advertiser. If you go around their table, let them know you saw their ad. That would be good. Anything I'm missing there, Lynn? So if you do have an address change, be aware we send this pre-sorted standard, so it's not going to be forwarded. And you need to get a hold of us, preferably through the website, but if you need to, by email or in person. Let us know beforehand, so we don't have to resend things.
Okay. All right, we've got a few updates on reference works that have come out in the last year. Bill Buggert put out a census of the 49 double date WB6. In a recent show, we actually had 3 of these on exhibit. What's the total number he found?
38.
38, okay. All right. Clint Cummins continues to work on his halftime die varieties website. He does it one issue at a time. I think he's done about, well, it says 24 out of 70 issues. But he goes super in depth. He does, you know, obviously all the varieties for each date and mint mark, and then he's even got like a conditioned census on a variety basis. So it is seriously in depth. Really nice work. The Double Dimes book, John Frost is working on the 2nd edition. As I'm sure many of you know, Lane Brunner passed away recently, and his reference collection of 20-cent pieces, John has been distributing those. So if you have any interest in acquiring some of those pieces, see John. And then Dick Osborne, you want to talk about the Seated Dollar book?
Yeah, I've had, you know, every month or so I get a request for the book, and I haven't had any in 2 years now. So I had 30 copies reprinted. These don't reflect the updates that are on the website. It's just a reprint of the first book, but I have 30 copies of them available, and I brought a handful of them to the show here today. So if anybody wants a copy, I'll be at the Liberty Seated table off and on, and we'll have them there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What's the cost? $95.
All Joe Kirschkessner has been working on Trade Dollar series for a long, long time. Finally published this year. We've got a sample of the book downstairs, and this can be purchased online. It's listed on lulu.com, so that's available now, and you can look at it downstairs. All right. John just realized he left all the award medals downstairs, so he's furiously fetching them right now. I just do want to mention, for anyone who's interested in getting more involved with the club, there's tons of volunteer opportunities, setting up at a local show. We've got opportunities in publications. We could use some help on administering the website. So lots of places to jump in, just see me or any of the officers afterwards.
Well, while we're waiting for John, last announcement, we have a raffle. If you haven't gotten a free ticket for the raffle, come and see me. And the tickets are $1 a piece. The prizes are the Gene Gardner quarter books, volumes 1 and 2, as a set. We have 5 medals from the Christian Gilbert Parade ceremony, and then we have a number of swag bags from our open house from the 50th anniversary.
All right, and John is back and all out of breath.
Just to
Yes.
follow up what Greg Johnson said about contacting us about the change of address. One of the benefits of the new website is you can actually log into the website and you can change your own address, your own email, your own phone. And because I've been doing this for a number of years, I know that about 10% of you get phones or address changes. So it would really help us out. Again, we're unpaid volunteers. So if you just log in and change your own address or your own email, because it won't be forwarded to you anymore. So you're responsible for updating your own address. Thank you.
All right.
Well, I apologize. I don't deserve my raise this year because I left the award medals at the table. It
was 50%.
They got back in time.
All right.
I'm the one this one. Okay. So our primary literary award is the Kamal Awash Award. And it's presented every year, and the recipient is the author of the favorite article in last year's Go Brick Journals as voted by the membership. We now recognize second and third place with the free year of membership. The vote was conducted at the end of last year for Go Brick Journals 149, 150, and 151. There were 11 articles by 8 authors, and every article received multiple votes. So I had to run to the table. And I'm not a good, very fast runner. All right, so third place was John Lunson's article on silver dollar rarity comparison. Second place, The Lore of Liberty Seated Coinage. Every coin has a story by Jim Macor, who is the one who every year designs our Go Brick Journal covers. So congratulations to him. Yeah. And the winner this year, the article was in 151. The ones that got away, Go Brick related patterns and trial pieces. Jeff Pritchard. And by the way, that's why I needed the pictures yesterday. So, do we have anybody taking the picture of this? Or still picture?
Yeah, Leanne.
I can do one. Just a second.
This is for the New York Times.
Yeah.
National Geographic.
Okay.
Sure the eyes are focused.
A little backlit, but I got one.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jeff.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I didn't have his picture, so I need officer pictures for the, that was really the only reason I got it. So the results, voting, it was pretty close. So the top article, Jeff's article, 39 votes. Jim Macor, 35 and 33 for John's. And you can see a lot of the articles got a lot of interest. So These results will be published in the fall Go Brett Journal as well.
Okay. Greg.
Okay, the other award is the John McCloskey Research Award. Yearly award, best article on dive variety analysis. And again, it's by a vote of the membership for the 3 journals that are subject to this award. There were 6 candidate articles by 4 authors. And again, each one of the candidates received multiple awards. So I do want to point out, Norma McCloskey is here today. And Norma, if you wouldn't mind, I would like you to come up and present the award for us. And so the winner is 1876 CC halves, more than you ever wanted to know. And I hope you read that article because it's really more than you
I get to present it to you this time. Congratulations.
Yeah, you can get
I'm
that.
happy for you. Thank you. I'm happy.
All right.
There we go.
Hang on. This is for posterity.
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
I can take this home and prove we were here. I'm not on vacation.
Should we get the skyscrapers
One more.
in the background?
Oh, yeah, great.
Okay, here's the results for the 6 articles, as you can see, and as John said about the Olive Award. A lot of interest. Appreciate you all reading what we do. And okay, so the 3rd award is for the favorite featured collection. This is a fairly new award, and again, there's 3 of them from the 3 issues. Vote of the membership again, and yeah, this is the same thing that we've said about the prior 2 awards. I'll save you the repetition. And the winning featured collection was from issue 149 and part 1 of the Jerry Fortin Seeded Time collection. Jerry's down at his table, so we will get the award down there to him. But hey, in his absence, congratulations.
All right. Give an award every year for service to the club, the President's Award. This recognizes extraordinary efforts of a member for promoting the club and Liberty Seated coinage, and just contributing to the club in any way they can. All right, so this year goes to just really an old-time coin guy. I went to coin shows in South Florida in the 1970s. This guy actually was probably there. I wish I had met him at the time. But anyway, longtime Liberty Seated collector, very connected in the coin business, and he's been our new member chairman the last few years. He is retiring, so we wanted to recognize him. And this goes to Carl Feldman. We will make sure Carl gets that.
Well, I have the privilege of leading this Hall of Fame committee, and it sort of ran itself because there were really talented people that I encouraged to be part of the selection committee. Myself, Len, Darrell Lowe, John Frost, Greg Johnson. Everybody's here, I think. And we've received a number of nominations for the award. And there's a number of requirements, sort of requirements. You must have been a club member for at least 10 years. We'll skip the deceased part. Did a lot of work in various contributions, numismatic research, numismatic literature, significant collection of liberty-seated coinage, and significant service as an LSCC officer. Now, you don't have to do every one of those, but the past, what is it, 14 members, all were major contributors to this club in various aspects, some of them, all of them. And of course, the very first two were John McCluskey and Cam Awash, who their awards are named for. So we approved one member. He has been a member. I'm going to choke up on this. He's been a member of the club for many years, written more than 30 articles, and he won the Cam Awash Award twice. He's presented numerous presentations. He's supported the club in many ways, and his numismatic achievements, he really worked hard for the club and was a dedicated numismatist. Okay, so who is it? Okay, at this point, a lot of people know. He built a complete collection of liberty-seated dollars, a complete mint states collection of liberty-seated half dollars. He was the primary author of a register of liberty-seated dollar varieties, the recognized reference for the series. And he also established a successful coin business. Now, years ago, I started going to Long Beach in the 90s. And there was another collector there who I spent many, many evenings sitting at the auctions with him, and also occasionally going for a beer at Rock Bottom Brewery. Go ahead, the next one. He's won various awards, the Cam Awash 2013, the Cam Awash Award 2020, the best article in the Goldberg Journal for issues 51 through 100, the John McCluskey Research Award in 2023, and again in 2024. And if you paid attention earlier, you don't know, but you don't know, you know now. So who is it? Dick Osborne. So we had to encourage him to get here, and we enlisted his wife on this one. Anyhow, there it is. Yeah, it's just this hits at my heart here. Even if he doesn't know it.
Scoot over. I want you all in here.
All right, you get it.
You've all been such a big part of our lives that you can come and stay at the house sometime. Especially if I cook.
Now it's my turn.
One more time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I actually have to say that this wasn't totally unexpected, because I was talking to John in June, telling him that Ruth wasn't exactly excited about 3 or 4 days at a coin show, and that we might just decide to not come. And he said, oh, I'll talk to Ruth, and maybe I can talk her into it. And about 3 days later, she all of a sudden got excited about it. Well, maybe it was the reward I was just going to get. I didn't think it was this one. I have to say that, for what I've done for the last 25 or 30 years, there can't be a higher honor. I really appreciate it. And I have to give a little credit to a couple that came, actually 3 that came before me that are already on that list that you just saw. Jim O'Donnell was kind of my mentor, and for some reason, he was a hard guy to get along with. For some reason, he adopted me and kind of took me under his wing and taught me a whole lot about what's rare and what's not so rare and liberty seated. And I just, I'm forever grateful to him. The other 2 are Randy Wiley and Bill Booger, who, when their book came out back in, I think it was 92, something like that, I was already a fairly serious liberty seated collector. And all of a sudden, I had 100 more coins to look for. It really sucked me totally in. So those 3 people, I really consider did an awful lot to to get me to where I've gotten to, but I greatly appreciate this. Just thank you very much.
Hey, Dick, I was torn about which photo to use. I chose this one, but this was the other one I thought about. All right, we're now, our guest speaker, Greg Bennick, is going to be talking about counter-stamped Liberty-seeded coins. I'll cue that up.
Absolutely. So, my name's Greg Bennick. I'm on the board of Coneca and TAMS. I don't know most of you, so thanks for having me today. I switched things up a little bit at the last minute. What I was going to do is just show you pictures of Liberty-seeded coins with counterstamps on them and talk about those coins. And then I realized at the last minute, there's lots of you who might not know what counterstamps are, what they signify. And the reason I say that is because I teach at the A&A Summer Seminar, and this year in my counterstamp class, I asked the class, how many of you feel like you have advanced expertise in counterstamps? I had a few people raise their hands. I asked them, how many people here don't even know what a counterstamp is? And I had a couple of people raise their hands. And that was at the end of the class. It was at the beginning of the class, but there were people who signed up and came to Colorado Springs and had no idea what a counterstamp was. I thought that was so cool. So what I decided to do is change the title a little bit, call it Doorways into History, and then showcase all the coins throughout as Liberty-seeded coins from my collection. So I'll just talk a little bit about that. You can advance the slide. So Liberty-seeded series is the perfect series for counterstamp collecting. And I'll explain in a moment what counterstamps are. And you know that this is meaningful to me because I put the title there in another color. I am hopelessly colorblind. All of my slides are always white text on some sort of background, and I was like, this is really important. I'm going to change the color. I don't even know what color that is. But remember that Liberty-seeded series is the perfect series for counterstamp collecting. Why? A nearly perfect overlap of dates. So Liberty-seeded, the dates shown there. Counterstamps were largely used by merchants to advertise their wares. We'll get into that in a little bit, or their service. Early 1800s to late 1800s. There's a perfect overlap. So if you're sitting around in 1850, you want to stamp the name of your business into a coin for advertising purposes. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what coins are you going to find? You're going to find Liberty-seeded coinage, and you're going to use those for stamps. There's lots of them out there. It's perfect. There's also a wide variety of denominations to choose from. We'll get into why that's important in a bit, but it's pretty cool to be able to find counterstamps on half dimes, dimes, quarters and halves and whatnot. And then also silver is better than copper at the end. No, I'm kidding. I like it myself better. I really enjoy silver coins with counterstamps. I like big half dollars. I do love collecting large cents with counterstamps, but there's something about a silver coin with a counterstamp and the way it looks, the dark counterstamp mark versus the lighter silver color makes me happy. So when I say silver is better than copper, sorry, large cents. It's not me talking badly about large cent or large cent collectors, but rather visually appealing in terms of the counterstamp itself. I prefer the silver coinage. So we can move on from there. So my goals for you in the next handful of minutes: to understand who, what, where, when, why of counterstamps, to examine some incredibly cool coins, and to learn how to research some counterstamps for yourself, because if I just show you pictures, that's nice, but if I give you something that you can actually use, take away, and find counterstamps of your own, that's better, okay? So what are counterstamps? They're the coolest damaged coins you will ever own. If you came up to me and said, hey, I've got a great error coin and it's damaged, I'd say, cool, you can keep that for your collection. But if you came up to me and said, hey, I've got a damaged coin, it's from the mid-1800s, it's got a barber's name counterstamped in it, and it's damaged inherently by the mark itself. Maybe it's got a hole in it too. I don't care. I love it because of the mark. Gregory Brunk wrote a book, kind of the ultimate as it stands now, book on counterstamp coinage. He called counterstamps little billboards. They were used as billboards for advertising throughout the United States, as I said, and we'll get into it more in just a bit, for merchants, for people advertising something, a shoemaker, an axe manufacturer, whatever it might be. People were stamping their name, the business name, their city into coins. If you're walking around with me and it's 1860, we're in Oklahoma City, we don't know where I'm going to go to shave my head today, and all of a sudden I get a $50 and change, and you look at it and you say, whoa, it says G.F. Higgins, barber, Oklahoma City, now I know where I'm going. So people were using them as advertising. It got very popular. Frank Duffield, 1919, called this one of the great indoor sports. It was so popular that there were really big estimates on how much of the coin population in the US were counterstamped at the time. And we'll talk just a little bit about prepared versus individual letter punches, meaning merchants would use these prepared punches with all that information on them. You'll often see initialed coins, coins with just GB or FC, oftentimes on large cents. Far too many to cover today or in the span of any of our lifetimes. So we're going to skip those probably for the moment. Next slide. Who counterstamp coins? There's a whole list right in front of you. Please note sword makers. Please note wizards. That's exciting stuff. Please note lemon squeezers. I cut out the lemon squeezer slides from the deck just in the interest of time today. But if you have any interest in learning about Robert Onderdonk, who was one of the foremost lemon squeezers in New York City in his day, I would be happy to show you pictures of my trade dollar counterstamped by Robert Onderdonk, and we can talk about that. But yeah, I put axe manufacturers at the bottom at the last minute because I bought an axe manufacturer counterstamp on the floor of the show yesterday. My mind's still wildly blown. Next slide. So where were they stamped? Coins were stamped across the USA with a preponderance in the Northeast and the East Coast, and then a good number throughout the Midwest. West Coast stamps are scarcer by mark. There are a few. J.L. Polimis was a druggist in Sacramento. You'll see his coins oftentimes on Liberty Seated. But stamps from the South are most definitely uncommon. If you could have seen the childlike look of glee on my face 2 days ago when I found J.H. Delman, Pine Bluff, Arkansas on that 1870s dated $50 on the floor here, you would have been overjoyed for me. I kind of went nuts. Arkansas counterstamps, quite rare. Okay. When were they stamped? Throughout the 19th century, as early as the first few years of the 1800s, with peaks throughout the century. S.D. Choate, Silversmith, Louisville, Kentucky. That's on a dime. Next slide. So why were they stamped? They were stamped for advertising a skill, a business, or a trade. Gunsmiths, silversmiths, blacksmiths. They were advertising their business. Sometimes also, the coins were stamped to gain admission to an event. We'll see some examples. They were stamped to simply test new punches. They were used to celebrate a patent being successfully filed. And sometimes, I mentioned individual letter punches rather than a set stamp with all the information I talked about, name, business, location. People used individual letter punches or combinations of set and individual punches to stamp their names on the coin. If you could have seen the look of childlike bliss on my face when 2 days ago I found that on the floor of this show, you'd be overjoyed for me. Ira Stout Jr. Stencil Cutter Mill Brand, small stencils, sack plates, and key checks. On the back, and I don't have a photo of it, it says Dartown, Ohio. Anybody familiar with Dartown, Ohio? Not surprised. It is a 4-block by 4-block area of western Ohio, literally a handful of houses in unincorporated Ohio. I don't know how he had competition, or if he did, or if he really needed to advertise. He could have stood on his roof and been like, hey, I make these things, and everyone in town would have heard. But he took the time to make that, which I thought was pretty cool on an 1846 half. Next slide. Why were they stamped part 2? To commemorate a historical event or experience? To alter, I should actually have said to alter or let people know about denomination or value for ego or for fun. Okay, so this is a 20-cent piece that has been denominated with the number 20 on obverse and reverse. If you're in a major city when 20-cent pieces were introduced, you would know what they were. You would have saw it in the paper, you would have heard somebody talking about it, you would have heard about it over a beer. If you're in a rural community and you get a 20-cent piece in 1875, you're going to think it's just a tiny quarter. You're not going to know exactly what the deal is. So people were stamping 20 into this to let you know, hey, this is only worth 20 cents. These are quite hard to come by. The man to my right owns all of them. I recently, Lane owned all of them, and then John has them. And this summer, he let me borrow his for my class. And I was looking at them, I'm like, these are so cool. When am I ever going to find one of these? And if you had seen the childlike look of glee on my face, that came up in an online auction a couple weeks ago, and I'm overjoyed to own just one. So it's very cool. Next. So let's talk just for a second about identification, appreciation, and attribution. These are 3 things that will help you collect counterstamps, know what's happening when you see them. Next. There's 2 auctions historically. Actually, there's a number of auctions, but 2 major ones that you can get catalogs from that are really well illustrated that'll help give a sense of counterstamps. Bowers and Morena, September 1st, 1985, sold the Van Ormer collection. It's in that catalog to the right. 4 memorable collections, and Roy Van Ormer's collections in there of counterstamps, brilliantly illustrated. If you can find a copy of that, that's not an expensive catalog. Lots of cool counterstamps with descriptions. Stax Bowers Galleries sold the tiny collection of an unknown guy named John Ford Jr. Part 23, August 2013, and I'm joking, the set of catalogs, as you may or may not know, sits on a shelf about this wide. There's that many sections of the catalog, incalculable, the importance of the collection. But part 23 had all of John Ford's counter stamps. So there's quite a few in there if you can get a copy of that catalog. Next slide. Okay, let's look at some coins. On the left, J.H. Delman, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, on a, I think it's an 1877 half. Bought that here. Very unusual to find a mark from Pine Bluff or Arkansas. That's going to take some research on my part to figure out who he was, what he did, why he stamped this coin. There's currently 3 known. That's the 3rd. There were 2 until I found that floating around the case. I mentioned admission to an event was a reason things were counterstamped. In the middle, you see Yankee Robinson, who was a showman of the time, and he offered a free ticket to Yankee Robinson's quadruple show. That was the show that he put out after his double show. He didn't survive to make his octuple show, but still, the quadruple show, you gained admittance by handing him that coin, which was conveniently struck on a 50-cent piece. So you gave him your ticket, and you'd just given him 50 cents to get into his quadruple show. A clever man. Andrew Ward ran hardware stores in New York City. He had 2 locations, hardware stores in New York, and there's only a handful of those known. I love anything that's related to New York City I get excited about because my brother and family live there. So yeah, so that was a cool thing. That's on a 53 ounce quarter. Next slide. A couple others. C. Cannon Grocer, Dubuque, Iowa. That's just another just very unusual thing, but you get the sense now. C. Cannon was the guy. Grocer was, you know, the what he did. Number 4. There's another digit. I can't remember what it is after that. It's not just 41. It might be 41 something. But anyway, it just didn't show up there because of the way he positioned the stamp. But it's Dubuque, Iowa underneath. The person who sold that to me gave it to me at a great price. He said, "You can only see half the stamp. I'll only charge you half the money." And I was like, "I love you." So there you go. On the right, Parisian Varieties was a show in New York City, and as you can see, it's got the address on there on that 75 half. Next slide.
Greg, Carl Feldman has that same kind of stamp on a seated dollar.
Oh, fantastic. That's really cool. Yeah, and Parisian Varieties is one that you can find. I've made mention, of course, of the ones like, oh, this is my collection, there's only 3. Don't worry about that stuff. There's lots of these that you can absolutely find copies of. Next, to slab or not to slab? People always wonder about slabbing. More often than not, counterstamp collectors go the way of the ancient folks. Ancient collectors typically are like, why would I put something that's existed 2,000 years in a slab that was, invented, only a couple decades ago? We love playing with the counterstamps, flipping them over, doing research, figuring out what they are, who stamped them, that sort of thing. So Ben Wyatt, Mayflower Saloon from Memphis, Tennessee, on that 1858 half, came to me in the slab. I've thought about freeing it, but I like it as an example of, it's up to you. Want to slab your counterstamps? Get wild. But I prefer typically to play with them and explore. Next. So, a couple ways to attribute. I mentioned Gregory Brunk's book, Merchant and Privately Countermarked Coins. It's kind of a pricier book, typically a couple $100. I would recommend it. I say that with a caveat to you. Brunk wasn't always accurate. I would say that if Brunk was still alive and standing next to me, because he says it. He says in the book, I didn't see all the coins in this book, and he didn't. He had collectors sending him pictures. He had collectors sending him descriptions. Hey, here's a picture. I've got 4 of these. That became the census. If he knew the dates, he would put it in there. If not, he wouldn't. But the book isn't always accurate, but it's great. Same thing with Russell Rouleau, United States tokens, 1700 to 1900. Russell Rouleau was taking information at times from other sources, and sometimes not always entirely accurate, but still a great, great book with lots of great information, highly recommended about counterstamps. Next. I want to talk just for a minute about this proof scale. A good friend of mine named Bill Groom, who is an advanced counterstamp collector. I did an interview with him for the Newman Numismatic Portal. I highly recommend both the portal, my interview series, and my interview with Bill Groom, where he talks extensively about counterstamps, and we show a number of examples. But sometimes it's hard to tell what somebody did. C. Cannon Grocer, Dubuque, Iowa. Well, we know who he was, where he was from, and what he did. But what about G.W. Caprone? Not so sure. We have to do some research. It's potential that this is G.W. Caprone from wherever, Springfield, Massachusetts. I'm making that up. But we don't know that until maybe we find something that points us in that direction, when that potential attribution becomes possible. Looks like a match, but I can't prove it yet. And then probable. I start seeing historical records of a G.W. Caprone, where he was from, what he did, that sort of thing. And then positive would be unquestionably a match. You find some piece of silverware that has a mark on it, and that mark matches your coin that says Greg Bennick Silversmith, Armpit, Tennessee, or whatever it might be, in some very obscure tiny town somewhere. All of a sudden you've got a direct match between the silversmith's mark and the piece of silver, and all of a sudden this is an amazing Tennessee find, which makes me very happy. Next. If you're searching for a match to try to figure out who Charles Wendell was, let's say it didn't have the word jeweler there, you can search for the name in quotes and then the word patent. That oftentimes will give you some information. The name in quotes, job title, surname and initials, you can search that way. And also font types tell us a lot. I mentioned before, seeded coins are perfect for counterstamps because a silversmith or a jeweler, especially a watchmaker, isn't going to have a large typeface as they stamp. They just aren't going to be able to fit that inside a watch. So they're going to have their name be very small. A.P. Boynton was a watchmaker who counterstamped coins. Very small mark because he was stamping that in watches and then testing it out on coins as well. You might find that on a dime. Charles Wendell Jeweler on the 1840 dime, there's a perfect example. Very small lettering. Bigger letters leads us in a different research direction. Bigger letters might be a gunsmith who was stamping on lock plates of firearms. A cartouche might imply a silversmith. This is the fun of this stuff. It's all research-based. And unlike a lot of coins on the floor, no offense to anybody who collects anything, I love all coins and types, but a Morgan dollar, 1881S, you're not really going to know who owned it unless it's 1881S, specimen 68, the highest condition. You can track it through history. John Ford owned it, Elias Berg owned it, etc. But we know that Charles Wendell, jeweler, owned that coin. We can find out more about Charles Wendell. We know more about the coin, more about him. It's kind of reciprocating. It's pretty neat. Next. Just a couple last thoughts. My favorite Liberty seeded piece. How to collect counterstamps. What's one thing that makes them cool is something called go-alongs. And Bill Groom and I talked about that a bunch. But Bowman Photographer, Ottawa, Illinois, on an 1857 half. Bowman, W.E. Bowman, was a photographer in Ottawa, Illinois. I bought that coin. I didn't know anything about Bowman. And I went down a rabbit hole, as many of us do. And I started finding his photographs as go-alongs, things to go along with the coin. See this photo of a woman? Bowman took it because he's got his name on the back there. Next slide. Bowman took lots of photos. Photographed by Bowman, Ottawa, Illinois. Bowman, I've taken this to like such a wild level at this point. I have stacks of Bowman photos, and I've got a biography that I found the guy wrote about Bowman. And on the left, I know that I don't want to run too long, but I'll just tell you a very quick story. The little Eskimo lady, Miss Olaf Krerer, photographed by W.E. Bowman, Ottawa, Illinois. Bowman was excited to get the exclusive rights to take photos of the little Eskimo lady, who was little, and as she said, an Eskimo and a lady. And she would tour around the United States and speak about being a little Eskimo lady and what that was like. And Bowman was very excited about that. She was such a good speaker and so prolific with her speaking that William Jennings Bryan, the most famed orator of his day, said that her speech was the most impressive speech that he had ever heard. The most impressive speech he had ever heard. Every single word of everything she said was a lie. Everything was a lie. She was not an Eskimo. She was from Greenland. Everything she said was debunked. She was a huckster, as you'd say, I guess. I just pulled that word out of anywhere. She was wandering the country, making money off of people, telling the story of her being a little Eskimo lady. Everything about it was a lie. And in the biography about her, it explains that she fooled everybody, including Bowman. There's pictures of her like in a fur outfit, and she's waving that Bowman took. There's pictures of her like glamorously posing, all fake. The reason I tell you that story is because it's fascinating. All of a sudden, the Bowman coin becomes so much more interesting. And this could be true for any counterstamp on a Liberty-seeded coin, like my Bowman half, that you might collect. Next. Another cool example, Sprague and Blodgett's Georgia Minstrels. This was a touring artist company, I guess you'd say. But do a little research, who were the members? And I can't quite see the date on my half there, but it's on a seeded half. You find out who the members of the touring company were. Well, Sam Lucas on the left was one of the members of the company. So now I've got a seeded half. I've got the mark from Sprague and Blodgett, I know that they ran this Georgia Minstrel show that there's tons of information about, and that's the guy. That guy was in the Georgia Minstrels. So then one night, is that a cue that I've gone too long? Okay, it's only a couple more slides, I promise. One night, late in the night, as I do when I'm sitting at my place in Seattle, doing research, I find this video on the left. 1914, a video, a short film, silent film, Uncle Tom's Cabin, starring Sam Lucas. So now I'm sitting up, it's 1:30 in the morning, and I'm watching the guy who appeared in the Sprague and Blodgett's. I mean, goosebumps, right? Like goosebumps. All of a sudden, the coin has come to life. The coin is literally right in front of me. And I mean, I have to say, like, I was emotional watching the Gobrecht unveiling of the stone that we saw. Now it's like, okay, there's Christian's work, and there's a manifestation in human form, and we're watching the video. It's mind-boggling, all of it coming together. Next. Some counterstamps for you to explore. These are names of marks, and many of them appear on seeded coinage. Hauck's Panacea out of Baltimore, absolutely on seeded coinage, and then occasionally earlier too. Or J.L. Palimas, certainly on seeded coinage. You see some of these. If you have questions about them, I've got a pile of business cards up here with my email on it. I'd be happy to answer any questions about any of these. They run from C.C. Dyers, a saw maker, Vote the Land Free stamped on coins, which was a, you see that less on seeded, but that was a political slogan. Kunkel's Opera Troupe, consult Dr. Darby, that's all it says. And that was instructing you, if you were in Boston, to consult that doctor. Parisian varieties we saw, the GGG and GGGG was a patent medicine. G.G. Wilkins, you get the point. There's lots of these things out there, and these are just a handful. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of marks. Next. Things to read and groups to join. In every issue of the Token of Metal Society magazine, I write an article called Counterstamp Corner. I feature a coin in there, oftentimes on Liberty Seeded, so there's some crossover. Bill Groom writes an article in the National Token Collectors Association called Punchlines, which is cool. We joke about being the only two people walking the earth currently who consistently write about counterstamps. We call each other all day long because we are each other's only friend about this stuff, and it's really fun. Next. Let's connect. I'm at minterrors@gmail.com. If anything I said made too much sense, too little sense, or you have more questions, ask me anytime. I'm always happy to help. And I'm at the Coneca table back-to-back with Liberty Seeded, so you can stop by and say hi. But thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate all of you. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. I think Dennis is going to give away some of our raffle items. We have more slides.
Okay, anybody who didn't get their free ticket, now's the time. Anybody who wants last minute tickets, now's the time.
Lay out my tickets here. It's okay. It's not a problem.
While people are getting the last raffle tickets, did anybody not get one of the Christian Gobrecht cards that would like one?
Sure if I did or not.
That's it. Was definitely taken care of. It was. All we need to do is give them an honorary membership.
Old building.
Steve, do you still have that 1850 oak border?
Oh, no, I traded that
Thank you.
for 49.
Okay. That was actually my coin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very numbered.
Yeah, I traded it for 49.
Oh, okay.
And then it turns out the 1849 is like, it's like, just like 2 million better than. Relevant trade.
Oh, yeah.
These do send
Was it 49 or 70?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
All right.
I own it, it's Liberty seated, it's in that.
Okay.
And on that note,
Last call. Everybody got
Well,
it?
Hey, no.
Nice to see you.
Did you talk to the short starter kind yet?
Sorry?
Did you talk to the short, Dave Sparks, the
Yeah, oh,
short
yeah.
starter table? Okay,
Well, extensively.
Yeah.
That's an amazing.
Yeah, I was blown away.
Amazing.
I knew about it and seen it.
Sometime I'll tell you about our the trip to the National Archives. That was most
We'll talk tomorrow night too.
All right,
Yeah,
ready?
well,
All right. Winner number one.
What are we playing for, Dennis?
They pick whatever they want.
Oh,
They
okay.
pick whatever they want. I'm assuming the first one will be the book.
All right.
Ticket number 309. Last three numbers, 309. Congratulations. All right, there we go. Congratulations. Pick whatever you want.
The choices. All right.
No, you did.
It's a set.
It's a set.
You might want to take the box too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
All right.
All right. Okay, next winner. 165.
right here.
All right.
So a counter stamp one?
He can do that.
You pick what you
Yes.
want.
Oh, I know Bill Groom. I live in Crossville.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'll be there in a month and a half. Let's hang out.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
very cool.
All
Awesome.
right.
Thanks, guys.
Are you gonna counter stamp that one?
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay, 273.
Oh.
There you go. Wow. Pays to get the free one.
It does.
Wow, one of these up if we can.
Wow, thank you. That is a
Is that
big
what you
deal.
want?
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Okay.
Amazing.
All right. 019. That's an early bird. 019. There you go.
Fine. 019 is you were.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna take it.
Take your word for it.
Okay. 054.
Bingo. That's somebody else though.
350 tickets.
That's Carl Stanks.
Okay.
So just so you heard that.
All right. 310, 310.
Oh, man.
You again?
I'll let someone else win.
Okay. Very generous of you. 279. Don't you hate that?
At least started with a 2.
Yep.
That or the bags.
Yep. Okay, so we're down to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, 6 bags left. All right. 246. Very good. Two bags. Okay. 159.
I have that one, but I'd love for somebody else to win something.
Okay, thank you. 088.
Cool item.
Ah,
I think I won something.
yeah, you finally won something, huh? This is our big spender.
You got one of those earlier.
Bought $40 worth of tickets. Huh? 088, doesn't matter.
Were you a member then?
No,
That's fine.
I think I got this bag though, in Pittsburgh. I went to the Pittsburgh.
Well, take this one, it's in nice shape.
Okay.
It's $40, at least you get a decent bag. Okay, 251.
251.
All right. Yep. Okay. 020, 020.
That would be me.
Okay.
I already got something, so I'll.
Okay. 234. New County heard from.
I just want to make sure I'm not moving.
All right. Very good. Okay, so we got 2 bags left. 022. That's probably you too.
Me again.
All right, keep going.
Man.
Yeah, you better play the lottery. 048.
That's Carl.
That's Carl.
I'm gonna say he's gonna be happy just with one thing, so
Okay.
we'll pass on that one.
You need to leave the room.
Hey, I'm giving other people chances.
222. Where's Karen Valentine? If you know that one, you're old.
You're old.
All right, last one, and I want to thank everybody for their club support. I haven't counted up the money. The last time I counted up the money was before it was $259, so I don't know how much we got now. 185.
Was that close?
Oh my God.
185.
Finally bracketing me here.
Ah, Norma!
Oh, nice.
Excellent. And you get to keep all the tickets too. No. I need to dump the tickets out of the bag. I'll get this to you, okay? All right. So you get all this stuff in the bag too, but I got to dump the tickets out of the bag.
All right, thanks everyone for coming. We'll see you in Pittsburgh next year.
And anybody that's interested, we're going to have a Seated Half Society meeting immediately following this. So if you're interested in Seated Halves, stick around.